it's connected to both. So we'll see what pops up. All right, so this is the B Cups guide. This is our third attempt to trying it today. So if this doesn't work, then we're not going to do it. And I mean, it's just a question of, I know the first time we tried it, there was a big delay to when it showed up on Facebook. So then we didn't realize that it was actually running. And I don't know if we were talking about whether it's the internet or whatever. It's still not showing up on our Facebook page. So is it? So I don't know. You're monitoring Facebook, right? It's not showing up on our YouTube page yet. And,
I'm trying.
Well, I'll try Facebook too then.
I mean, I'm looking at our Facebook page, but I don't see it. I saw Tony Ski liked it, but I can't find it.
All right. Well,
maybe I'm doing something wrong.
You know, maybe what we should do is
this should be our whole podcast.
Oh, I got live going right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, so we're on Facebook. We're live on Facebook. I'm sorry about YouTube. I don't know. And there is a big time delay. So yeah.
Well, hi.
So we're on.
Hello.
We're just delayed. I don't know why it's such a big delay. So we didn't realize we were on the first time. And for some reason YouTube isn't hooking up. I don't know why. But let's just finish the Facebook thing. All right. So I only have 15 minutes because I got to make dinner. So I have something that I want to talk to you about because I've been bugging you about this for about a week. And I was waiting until today. There was a reason why I was waiting until today. For the last week, every day I've been sending you the numbers. And I think I've told you 5 times. And I will say it again now so that everybody can hear me. This has nothing to do with the media. I am not criticizing the media in any way. They're not getting the numbers. And I've been following. What I do is I follow a site called Worldometer, and they track the Johns Hopkins Institute's numbers. They track worldwide the numbers of coronavirus. The numbers they get from the U.S. go through Johns Hopkins, and so every state reports their numbers to Johns Hopkins, and Johns Hopkins reports it to Worldometers. And so every day I've been tracking it. And one of the things that I've been tracking is who's recovering. And every day I've been sending Chris messages that seem to bug the shit out of him about the fact that in Illinois we have we have had 50 people recover from the coronavirus according to the state's numbers. These are the numbers the state reports at Johns Hopkins, and then they're uploaded to this worldwide website. You can track every state, how many cases they have confirmed, how many people have died, and how many new cases every day, how many new people die every day. And then they also put how many active cases are going. If you look at all the other states, they report how many people have recovered. In Illinois, that number has been 50 for at least a week now, or however long I've been sending these messages, over a week. The reason I was waiting until today is because every day we also get a message from the superintendent that says how many people in the police department have coronavirus. And he lately has been sending how many people have recovered and returned to work, full duty. And it's over 50 people now have returned to work over full duty. So my question is, why is Illinois not reporting these numbers, the state of Illinois? I don't understand. It seems to me that it would be a success, a measure of success in how well we're doing, in addition to showing how the slow of the new cases, but also how the people are recovering. And we're one of only 3 states that doesn't seem to be reporting anybody recovering. It's us, Massachusetts, and Louisiana. I literally went through...
I don't know how they can report anything. They didn't get the proper tests until last Friday.
They didn't get the what?
They didn't get the test kits until last Friday.
No, we've done well over 100,000 tests. The Worldometer also shows the number of tests that they've given, and each state reports the number of tests. In America, we've given 3
But
million.
okay, here's the thing. Even even though you're not talking about the media, which I misunderstood, I thought you were.
Yeah.
This still holds true that the numbers. It's easy to determine who has it, and it's easy to determine who dies from it because people are sent to the testing center when they've got the symptoms, and they're either admitted to a hospital or they're sent home. So that number is verifiable. But a lot of the people are sent home. The people that are sent home, I don't think that it's as easy to monitor their progress unless their symptoms worsen. So I
Right.
think part of the reason is that maybe Illinois is doing more stringent reporting. So how can they report on people if they don't know how they're doing? And since they're so busy on the front line of taking care of people, they're not too terribly, like if they send somebody home with minor stuff and then they never see them again, they're not going to worry about them until later, because they figure they recovered, but they can't report that as a recovery until they test the people.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that may be true. I think I think that's one scenario. I personally came up with 3 different scenarios, that being one of them, because my problem is that other states are reporting it. I mean, we've had 38,464 people in America who have recovered from it, and only 50 of those people are technically from Illinois. And so my question is why are we not reporting it? Personally, I think there's 3 scenarios. One of them, the most unlikely one and the most nefarious one, we'll get to that later. But I think that there's 2 reasons. Either one, Illinois is just not bothering to track that and send it because like you say, they're too busy doing, but if that's the case, we're one of only 3 states that's doing that. I disagree with it. It's possible. The other possibility, I think, is that doctors are really leery to say that people have recovered. And for some reason in Illinois,
It's kind of the same scenario.
it's kind of, it's a question of whether or not the state's
Those are the
looking
same.
at it.
Those are the same.
It's a question of whether or not the state is actually tracking the numbers, or whether they are tracking them and the doctors are just not willing to say that somebody's recovered after 2 weeks, like they've been telling us. And that's the whole point. If you're being told that you get this, then you have 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks comes and passes, and the doctor is not willing to tell you that you've been cured, then do they not know that you've been cured? Do they not want to say it? They don't want liability? I don't know what the point is. The other and the least likely thing, I will admit, is that I think that they're intentionally not reporting it just to keep everybody following the stay at home, to keep that number of how many active cases there are inflated to scare people. I don't think that's true. I think it's more likely that the state's just not bothering to do it. And I think that's a wrong thing to do too, because I think it would show more success if they could show, like there's a reason why the superintendent is telling us that 53 people have gotten this disease, recovered from it, and returned to full duty. It makes people feel like there's a good outcome. And I just think that I think the state, I think you're probably right that the state's just not bothering to follow up on this because they're more interested in who's sick and who's dead than who's recovered. And I think that's a mistake. That's all I'm saying. I think that they should be starting to track who's recovering from this so that we can actually see that it's really not as terrifying as people are making it out to be. Because right now it looks like you're either going to die or you're going to have it for more than 2 weeks. And so, I don't know. That's the reason why I've been tracking it. And that's why I think that's why New York is doing it. New York has had thousands of people who they say have recovered from it. And Illinois have 50.
I think they're reporting people that were hospitalized and then sent home. I think those are the only people that they can verify at the moment.
No, that's
And that's
I'm
not
sorry.
the total number of people that have recovered.
They have not had that many people in the hospital in New York. They track how many hospital beds are used to, and there's nowhere near that many hospital beds. What they're doing is they're tracking it through doctors. Doctors are reporting to CDC, to their state medical people, who then report to CDC who has it, who's tested positive. Whether they've been clinically diagnosed, laboratory diagnosed, and whether or not they've come out the other side. For some reason, the state is not sending it because everybody has to report that to the state according to these websites. So I don't know.
Well, I think they probably have a good reason for it. I mean, I'm sure that it has to do with data and not much else. I mean, I don't think these guys whose job it is to heal people uh, are concerned about not giving out news. They're not. I don't think the doctors. I just interviewed a doctor today. These dudes are too busy to give a shit about that stuff. They're working 16-hour shifts. They are never stopping, and they're totally unconcerned about uh, um, controlling a message about recovery.
No,
They're
I don't think
only
they are.
concerned about people that are coming in that are sick. And I'm sorry.
I don't think they are. I think they are reporting it. I really do believe that it's the state is not giving
No,
those.
no. I mean, I don't think that they're.
Oh, sorry, you froze up for a second. You don't think that they're what?
I don't know if we're still talking about the same thing. I don't think that the doctors. I think maybe you and I are talking about different people. You're talking about medical professionals. You're not necessarily talking about doctors, right?
Right. I'm not talking about doctors. Because the data shows in 47 states that the doctors are reporting those numbers to the state, and the state is reporting those numbers to Johns Hopkins. So I believe that in Illinois, the doctors are reporting the numbers just like they are everywhere else, and for some reason that number is being left off when the state health, whatever they are, the Department of Health is reporting the numbers to Johns Hopkins. They're reporting who gets it, they're reporting who dies, and for some reason Illinois is leaving off who's recovered. And I don't know why that is. I don't believe that the doctors are not reporting it. I think they are. I don't know. I think that there's some reason why. What's that?
I don't know why. You're not the only person that's asked about this, but I don't know why. I mean, why is that important?
Because I think it's important because I think that it balances out the message. I've been living in this low grade panic that getting this is terrible. And if you look at the numbers, the people with underlying conditions and the elderly people, it is terrible. But the other people they're saying is that, well, if you get it, it's probably the worst part is passing it on to somebody else. It probably won't be that big a deal for normal everyday people. And they've been telling us that, but the statistics so far in Illinois have not shown that, because I think that they're leaving off some of this important information. And I just think, for somebody like me who's more concerned with data than with messaging, then I'm looking at this data and I'm saying, okay, well, where are the people recovering? I'm getting it from the superintendent, but I'm not
Whose
getting it.
job is it?
It's the State Department of Health. Doctors.
Yeah, but who?
I'm sorry. From what I understand,
Who in the State Department? Who in the State Department of Health?
Well, I'm not sure who. I mean, but the from what I get from these websites, doctors report it to State Department of Health. They report the information. State Department of Health reports it to Johns Hopkins Hospital, who then it goes into this database, this worldwide database. And it's like I said, you can look up the numbers that 47 states are reporting people who have recovered, and only 3 aren't. And that I think that's a mistake. I think that they should be reporting that number. So that's why I keep.
I'm glad they're not.
The number of people who have recovered.
Yeah, I don't think I'm glad they're not doing it. I don't know if it's responsible or not, but I'm glad because from what I've seen, talking to the people I've been talking to, there's a lot of people out there that would see that information as an indication that everything's fine, and they would go back out and start hanging out. I think I don't think that's why they're not reporting it, but I'm glad they're not reporting it.
I'm sorry. that's what I'm worried about, is that people think exactly what you said is my most nefarious reason for why they wouldn't do it. And I don't think that's true. I think it's maybe an oversight or something. I
No,
don't
it's
think
not,
that,
I don't think it's true.
because I don't think that I hope that the state wouldn't do that, because other states are reporting it and New York is still leveling off. They're still abiding by the rules or by the stay-at-home orders. I think in Illinois we're not stupider than anybody else. So I think that if people see that it's working, then they're going to, you know, give it a reasonable amount of time to work. I don't think that, but I just think that I'd like to see how many people have recovered in Illinois. You know, that's all.
There's a lot of people that are complaining about that, and they're saying, "Why don't we know how many people have recovered?" And I don't really. I think if it's a mistake, well, whatever. But I think it's a blessing of some kind that that is not part of the news right now, because I don't think. I think by and large, most people right now are doing the right thing, which is why we're seeing the numbers change so much. But I think the smallest reason for them to change their behavior will be enough for them to change their behavior. And if they start reporting a rise in recovery, you know, I think people are just going to go, see, everything's fine. They're going to say things like what you just said a minute ago, which is like, it's not that big of a deal. Well, the thing is, it can be. That's the problem. And it's not just about elderly and everything. I mean, there's people that are in their 30s and people in their 20s that are dying from this thing. And, you know, people that are in excellent health are dying from the thing. So, yeah, I mean, there's a predisposition towards people that have diabetes and things like that, but that doesn't mean it's only them. Anybody that gets it, for no matter what your health condition, no matter what, it could change in your body, and you could get the bad end of that stick.
All right, but what do you say to the 47 states that are reporting the number of people are recovering and still are abiding by the stay-at-home orders?
I don't say anything to them. I don't understand. I don't. Not wait. What?
If you're worried about that, if you're worried about people glomming onto this and taking it as, okay, see, everything's working, let's go back outside. But there's 47 states that are reporting this number, the people that have not recovered, and those 47 states are not doing that. They're not saying, see, it's not that bad, let's go back outside. So,
I don't think the states would say that. I think the citizens would say that.
right, and I don't think the citizens of those 47 states are saying that. So,
I don't know.
you know, I mean, look, New York,
Whatever.
what did I say? New York has something like 16,000 people that have recovered from the disease. That doesn't mean that New York is seeing it as a success by abiding by these stay-at-home orders, that they're flattening the curve. It's still, you know, I don't know. I just thought that, I noticed that about a week ago, and I thought it was, I just thought it was weird that we're not reporting those numbers. But, okay, we've been talking about this for 20 minutes. I'm still not sure if this is working correctly, so I think we should end today, and we'll talk about something else tomorrow.
Yeah, it seems like it's going in and out
Yeah, that's what Andy says.
on
too.
Facebook.
I think you're probably right. It's probably the internet is loaded, or either that or our internet is. Maybe I'll try to move the modem downstairs.
Well, and I think 5:30 is probably the least opportune time to go online.
Yeah, let's shoot for earlier tomorrow. What time? You want to still try again for 4 or even earlier?
Let me. I think that's going to be fine because I don't have right now. I don't have a call in, but things. We'll talk offline about
All right.
that
All right.
tomorrow.
Thanks.